You know? There's a powerful truth I've come to understand about life, one that might not be easy to swallow, but it's necessary if you want to live a life of fulfillment and strength. And that truth is this: people change, and sometimes they change suddenly without warning. They can shift directions in a heartbeat, and if you're not prepared for that, it can leave you feeling lost and unsteady. One moment, someone is by your side, supporting you, cheering you on. And the next moment, poof, they're gone without a trace. It happens, and it often happens when you least expect it. It might not even be their fault. Maybe they've changed because they've grown. Maybe they're facing something we know nothing about, or maybe, just maybe, they were never truly who we thought they were. Whatever the reason, people are unpredictable, and life has a way of reminding us of this fact when we least expect it. The thing about change is that it is inevitable. It's one of the only constants in life, and people are part of that process. We all evolve, we all grow, and we all face challenges that shape who we are and who we become. And sometimes in that process of growth and evolution, people change in ways that no longer align with us, and they might walk away or drift apart. And it is in these moments that you need to be strong. You need to be resilient. You need to be ready to stand on your own 2 feet and keep going. Now, I want to tell you something important. If you're not prepared to stand on your own 2 feet, if you're not ready to keep moving even when those around you shift, this kind of sudden change can shake you to your core. Life, with all its ups and downs, will test you. It will test your strength, your resilience, and your capacity to adapt. You have within you the power to survive and to thrive, even if you have to do it alone. You have a deep well of strength inside of you, a reserve of power that you may not even realize is there until you need it. And the moment you tap into that inner strength, you realize that no matter what happens, no matter who comes and goes, you are capable of standing tall. See, life is full of twists and turns, unexpected surprises, and yes, people who change. And that's all right. People evolve, circumstances shift, and sometimes those closest to you may drift away. Maybe they change because they're facing their own battles. Maybe because they outgrow the relationship, or maybe they were never truly aligned with who you are. Whatever the reason, we cannot afford to let these changes derail us. We cannot afford to let someone's departure cause our world to fall apart. You've got to be ready to survive alone, to stay standing even when the people you counted on walk away. You've got to become self-reliant, because at the end of the day, your happiness, your success, your sense of purpose, it has to come from within you, not from someone else. Let's be honest here, folks. It sounds cold, doesn't it? But it's the truth, and the truth isn't always pretty. You see, if we rely on others to be our foundation, then we are setting ourselves up for disappointment. Because people are human, and humans change. We grow, we evolve, and sometimes we grow apart. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Relationships are beautiful. They are meaningful, and they are an essential part of the human experience. But relationships should enhance who you are, not define you. Your identity, your peace, and your direction in life cannot depend on someone else's presence. If it does, then you're standing on shaky ground. Imagine a house built on a weak foundation. It might look wonderful from the outside, beautiful walls, lovely windows, but the moment the ground shifts, what happens? It crumbles. That's what it's like when we build our lives around someone else. When we make someone else the center of our universe, we lose ourselves. We become vulnerable to every change, every twist and turn. And when that person changes, our whole world collapses. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can build a foundation that is solid, one that comes from within you, from your own strength, your own values, and your own purpose. When you do that, it doesn't matter if people come and go. If they change or if they stay, you stay steady, you stay grounded, and you keep moving forward. Resilience? Resilience is your ability to bounce back when life throws a curveball your way. It's your ability to adapt when the unexpected happens. And resilience comes from within, from knowing who you are, from being comfortable in your own company, and from understanding that no matter what happens around you, you have the power to keep going. I had a friend once, someone I really trusted. We had been through so much together, shared our dreams, our fears, supported each other through thick and thin. And then one day, out of nowhere, that friend changed. They started to distance themselves. No matter how much I tried to figure out what had gone wrong, nothing seemed to make a difference. I felt confused, hurt, and yes, even betrayed. But I learned something valuable from that experience, something that I want to share with you today. I realized that my happiness, my stability, couldn't depend on this person or on fixing our relationship. People have their own struggles, their own battles, and sometimes their journey takes them in a different direction. And that has nothing to do with you. It's not your job to make someone stay. It's not your job to hold on to something that's slipping away. Your job, your responsibility, is to stay true to who you are, to stay grounded, and to keep moving forward. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you take back your power. Because the moment you stop depending on someone else for your happiness, for your sense of direction, you become unstoppable. So what do we do when people change? When relationships shift, how do we keep going when we feel like the ground beneath us is giving way? The answer is simple. You focus on building yourself up. You invest in your own growth, in your own strength, in your own resilience. You make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to stand tall, to stay grounded, and to thrive, even when the people you thought would always be there aren't anymore. You start by asking yourself some important questions. Who am I at my core? What do I believe in? What are my values? What drives me? These are the questions that help you build a solid foundation. And once you have that foundation, you don't let anything or anyone shake it. People will change, circumstances will change. But your core, who you are and what you stand for, that remains steady. This isn't about closing yourself off from others. It's not about becoming suspicious of everyone, expecting them to leave or betray you. That's not the way to live. Relationships are a gift, love is a gift, and trust is important. But you also need to be realistic about the fact that people are human, and humans are unpredictable. People have their own journeys, their own battles, and sometimes their path takes them away from you. And when that happens, you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready to stand on your own, to keep moving, and to keep thriving, regardless of what anyone else does. One of the biggest mistakes people make is depending on someone else for their happiness. They rely on someone else to give them a sense of purpose, to guide them, to make them feel whole. And when that person changes or leaves, their whole world falls apart. But here's what you need to understand. Your happiness, your fulfillment has to come from within you. You have to be whole on your own. When you're whole on your own, when you're grounded in who you are, the people in your life become a wonderful addition, not a necessity. They add to your joy, they add to your experience, but they do not define it. And that, my friends, is the secret to surviving alone. When you learn to stand alone, when you learn to thrive on your own, you become free. You become free to love without fear, to connect without losing yourself, to let people come and go without losing your sense of self. And that kind of freedom is priceless. That kind of strength, the strength that comes from within. So when people change, when they leave, when they make decisions that you don't understand, don't let it break you. Don't let it knock you off your path. You are responsible for your own journey, your own growth, your own happiness. No one else can do that for you. When the people around you change, When relationships shift, let it be a reminder that you are your own anchor, your own foundation. You don't need to rely on anyone else to keep you steady. You've got everything you need within you. And when you truly embrace that, there's nothing you can't handle. Life is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. And yes, sometimes people will change in ways that hurt you, in ways that leave you feeling lost. But you have the power to keep moving forward. You have the power to not only survive, but to thrive, regardless of what happens around you. So always be ready to survive alone. Always be ready to stand tall, even when the people you thought you could count on change. Because at the end of the day, you are enough. You are your own constant, your own foundation, and that is more than enough. Build your strength, cultivate your resilience, and remember that your happiness, your fulfillment, and your sense of self all come from within. People will change. That's a fact. It's part of life. But you, my friends, you have everything you need to stay steady, to keep moving forward, and to live a life that's grounded in strength, resilience, and self-reliance. And when you do that, when you truly understand that you are enough on your own, that's when you become unstoppable. No change, no loss, no betrayal can shake you, because you've built something within yourself that no one can take away. Life is like a series of seasons. Sometimes you're in the middle of spring, everything is blooming, relationships are thriving, work is fulfilling, and life feels great. But then suddenly, without any warning, the season changes. The warmth of spring gives way to the cold of winter. People leave, circumstances change, and the comfort you once felt slips away. And in these moments, you must remember that you have the power to keep yourself warm through even the coldest winters. How do you do that? You do it by investing in yourself. You do it by making sure that your inner world is so well built, so well nurtured, that no external circumstance can destroy it. You've got to become your own source of light, your own source of warmth, and your own source of comfort. You've got to ensure that the love, the validation, the sense of purpose you seek comes from within and not from someone else. How often do we seek validation from others? How often do we look to someone else to make us feel worthy or loved? It's human nature to crave connection, to want to be accepted and appreciated. But the problem comes when we start depending on others to give us what we should be giving ourselves. Because when you make someone else responsible for your happiness, you give away your power. You hand over the keys to your peace of mind to someone who might not always be there to hold them. And that's a dangerous place to be, my friends. You've got to take back those keys. You've got to be the one who decides how you feel about yourself, who decides your worth, and who defines your purpose. Because when you take control of that, no one can take it away from you. Now, I know that this isn't easy. It takes work, it takes effort, and it takes commitment. But every bit of effort you put into yourself is worth it. When you invest in your own growth, when you build up your own sense of self-worth, you become unshakable. You become the kind of person who can stand alone in a storm and not be moved. Let me tell you a story about a woman I knew. She was strong, independent, and had a light that drew people to her. She had been through her share of heartbreaks and disappointments, but each time she came back stronger. She once told me, I learned that I am my own home. No matter where I go, no matter who comes into my life or leaves, I am always at home because I carry my foundation within me. That, my friends, is the essence of resilience. It's about becoming your own home. It's about making sure that you are a place of safety, comfort, and love for yourself. It's about knowing that no matter who comes or goes, you are always enough, you are always whole, and you are always capable of moving forward. And that doesn't mean you don't feel pain when people leave. Of course you do. We're human and we feel deeply. But the difference is when you've built a strong foundation within yourself, that pain doesn't destroy you. It doesn't break you. You feel it, You acknowledge it, and then you use it to grow. You use it to become even stronger. Because every challenge, every setback, every loss is an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to build your resilience, and to strengthen your foundation. When someone leaves, it doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It simply means that their chapter in your story has ended. And that's okay. You've still got more chapters to write, and you are the author of your own story. So how do you build this kind of resilience? How do you cultivate the strength to stand alone? It starts with small steps. It starts with taking time each day to nurture yourself, to invest in your own growth. It starts with setting boundaries, with learning to say no to things that drain you and yes to things that nourish you. It starts with surrounding yourself with positivity, with people, activities, and thoughts that uplift you. It's also about learning to sit with discomfort. Sometimes being alone feels uncomfortable. It feels scary, but discomfort is where growth happens. When you learn to sit with your discomfort, to face it head on instead of running from it, you start to realize that it's not as scary as you thought. You start to see that you are stronger than you ever imagined. You also need to celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Every time you face a challenge and come out on the other side, take a moment to acknowledge your strength. Take a moment to celebrate the fact that you made it through. Because each victory, no matter how small, is a testament to your resilience. It's a reminder that you are capable, that you are strong, and that you can handle whatever comes your way. And remember, being ready to survive alone doesn't mean you don't love deeply. It doesn't mean you don't form meaningful connections. It means that you understand that love and connection are additions to your life, not the foundation of it. It means that you can love someone with all your heart, while still knowing that if they change, if they leave, you will be okay. You will still be whole. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to thrive on your own. It's the ability to find joy, purpose, and fulfillment within yourself. It's the freedom to live your life on your own terms, without depending on someone else to complete you. And when you have that, you become unstoppable. People will come and go, circumstances will change. But you, my friends, you have the power to remain steady. You have the power to keep moving forward, to keep growing, and to keep thriving. You have everything you need within you to live a life that is full, meaningful, and beautiful, regardless of who is by your side. So always be ready to survive alone. Not because you want to be alone, but because you know that you can be, because you know that your strength, your happiness, and your worth come from within. And when you have that, you are truly free. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for taking this journey with me. Remember, no matter what happens, no matter who changes, you've got everything you need right inside of you. Stand tall, stand strong, and keep moving forward. You are enough, and you are unstoppable.